Welcome to another podcast of Adeel Pirzada podcast. Today you got the real deal Adeel Pirzada here with my co-host Kevin Padillo. How are you doing, Kevin?
Hey everyone, welcome. Glad I could be here today. I'm hungry, but I'm very blessed to learn again.
Right on. I was actually away for I think 3 weeks. I was away for 2 weeks, and then I wasn't feeling too well. One of the week before leaving, so I missed the podcast for I think for 3 weeks. And Kevin been great. He's been holding the mic for me, and he's done an excellent job. So thank you, Kevin, for being here when I wasn't present.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. I'm glad I could be here just to keep it going every Friday. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, no, you had a great two of the interviews, I think, and I actually didn't miss those. So whenever I did find time during my travel too, I did try to listen to some of it, and very useful information and good intellect that took place. So I appreciate you for for covering up for me and just being there and just keep moving this movement. So thanks a lot for that. So today. We're gonna talk about some of the stuff that I kind of experienced in past couple of weeks. Mainly it was the real estate, that I've been kind of conducting, or you could say, digesting on my trip. Is that the purpose behind was real estate that I was away. I was away for a real estate convention, and I've learned a lot of things there. And then today we decided we were going to discuss that on a little bit. Obviously, there was a lot of information, and I do promise to pretty much share everything, but not just today, but in upcoming podcasts too. Whenever the right time and the right topic is, we'll discuss on that. But today, Kevin got some questions laid out, so let's discuss on that.
Sure. Yeah, so welcome to today's podcast. This is episode 22. Before we dive into the discussion, every week or before I start, it's normally we'd like to introduce our company. So, Pircon Group is a commercial general contracting firm, and what we do is commercial construction. We do a little bit of residential as well, and we're going to talk to you at some point about some of our developments and great news. But we mainly do a lot of commercial, retail, restaurants, offices, and who knows, maybe even office conversions one day. I know that's a huge thing in Calgary. So, if you ever need any information about our services or a quote, go ahead and send me a message, or you could visit our website, percongroup.com, and you could inquire there on the forum. Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I just want to add to that. Percon Group is the group of companies, so we got multi actions happening within the company operations. So we do design and rendering and 3D modeling, engineering plans, building permits, development permit, consulting for our clients. We're building, new commercial places and concepts for restaurants, and then food lines, set up. So we do a whole lot of things, mainly because the things we've been experiencing in the past that we have encountered as an experience. So we feel really good about it, and we really love what we do. So we provide a lot of different services, and on the residential too, we provide residential services. The reason we don't do much of residential renovation is because we don't find the perfect fit for ourselves. Because us being more expert on more difficult stuff, we leave that stuff for the sub trades and even for the homeowners to kind of manage it for themselves. And the main reason behind that, we want our clients to have a bang for their buck. So when they're hiring Percon, we want them to have a very difficult project, and that's what we want them to hire us. When it comes to easier stuff, which usually residential, if it's just a floor change or if it's just the painting of the doors and things like that, we don't normally get involved unless you need to build an entire home, unless it's a ground up project, unless it's a renovation of an entire house or something big structurally or something big with the site is happening. That's where we come in because that's where our true power is. Our true expertise is handling and dealing with very difficult construction, very tight schedule, and bringing up that quality for our clients, you know. So that's where we focus on. That's why you hear all the time that we do a residential, not that much. We could do a lot of residential. It just depends on the quality and the intensity of the project. And yeah, like Kevin said, we got few good things happening on the residential ad. We're looking on building multifamily residential units, so that is something we'll share with you guys in the upcoming future. That what exactly we're doing, how we're doing it, and how we're going to accomplish it. But today's podcast is about it's not about that. So it's about real estate and the growth con. Actually, you wrote it down, growth con. It wasn't a growth con. It was a real estate summit. So that's what we're going to discuss today.
Yeah, so Adeel went on a trip to Florida, Miami, and yeah, it's great. I've been there a couple times, and it's a great place. I've lived in that place for maybe a couple days, but I miss the weather. It's all right. It's all right. Like in terms of weather, I like cold weather, but
Really, really.
yeah, I don't really a big fan of hot. Like hot weather's nice, like in the summertime, but like all year, I don't know.
I really love Miami weather. It's different because it's like island.
Tropical.
It's tropical, right? So it's like I've been to many places and conducted business and construction in many other places too. Arizona is one of them. Arizona is hot place, and I don't like that kind of heat. Or Nevada, right? I don't like that kind of heat. It's hot. It's good. It's better than here in a way because it's summer all the time. It's not winter. It's not snowing, but that heat is too much intense. What I love about Miami or that part, the South Florida, is that the heat is there, but it's not damaging. It's pleasant. It's the ocean is right there, and it's a beautiful ocean. I actually can't believe like some places in Florida that I visited, and I've been there before. This is my third or fourth time in Florida, and I kind of seen and I discovered some other areas. It's like some part of Florida, you go there, you won't even realize that it's USA. Is you think it's like you're in a tropical country, and it's like one of those destination places, like you're in either Mexico or Bali. Like some areas are just amazing, and then the culture there, it's not like the American culture. It's not what you see, big cars and big roads. Especially in the Keys, we visited. I've been there before, and we visited this time to Florida Keys. It's different. It's like the roads and the houses, the whole infrastructure is different. Doesn't even look part of the USA. I bet it's not part of the USA. USA probably took it. Uh, but it's amazing to know that it is USA. So all the life security and then all the benefits of the USA is there, but it doesn't look like anything USA. It looks like a vacation destination spot. And yeah, I really enjoyed the weather. I really enjoyed the people too. And I had great learning. So it's like traveling is very important, guys. I know it's important for relaxation. It's important to connect with one another and and ease off. But for me, traveling is I take it as a education. It's learning. I'm constantly learning when I'm traveling. I'm looking at things. I'm looking at and being in construction, and I love construction. So I'm always finding different things, like how they build stuff and how they've done it and how they've done it for the last 100 years and what they're doing different now and how are they building it now and what methods they're using. So I'm always educating myself wherever I go. I look around, I check things, I see the road, how they built the road, how the sidewalks are, how the street lights are. I just notice every single thing, and I'm just constantly educating and feeding myself with that food, which I know benefits me in millions of ways. Just witnessing that stuff and just experiencing from it, it's a great pleasure to my eyes and brain.
Powerful. Now, Adil, let's dive into these questions here. What did you learn at the real estate summit?
So, my main reason to be part of the real estate summit is mainly, just learn and educate something that I already don't know. I should know. Also, it's it's to build connections with people, to build, to be in the room, right, where the like-minded, like thinking people are there, to collaborate, to discuss, to explore ideas. And I'm in real estate as much as we're in construction, and we're a construction company and we provide consulting and construction services. I'm also a licensed real estate agent, and that's my the oldest business that I have is real estate. When I first stepped into this entrepreneurship business world, real estate was my first business to start, and I still have it till this day. And I've worked on a lot of real estate deals, and I've learned a lot in real estate. So that was the reason why I went there, because my attachment to real estate and our growth and our future, for Pircon, to be pioneer on some sort of ends on the real estate. So I learned a lot of things, mainly about how things are conducted. Let's say in USA, number one, and then the reason why I was there, it was actually it's a conference for multifamily real estate. It's not about multifamily construction. It's about multifamily development, whether like existing or new, right? So that
Okay.
was the reason why I was there, to learn and educate myself on
Mm.
more on that stuff.
Okay. So go deeper. That's interesting. What did you learn about like how things are being done? Like how do you mean, in what
Well,
way?
it's like a lot of educating, because what we do here, Canada is very limited on certain, like we have our population. So I'm just comparing with the USA, right?
Yeah.
They're both Western countries and both first world countries. But US is a massive market. It's a huge market. So
Okay.
it does make it somewhat different, and it's older too, right? So, but they were in the game before us, way before us. So they do things differently. And um, I'm just like, what I find, what I really see is that in USA there is a lot more like-minded people. So if you're in a room, where in Canada you would find five people like you that would have the same interest, in USA, if you were sitting in a room, obviously the room is a lot bigger, there's a lot of people, and you will find 50 or maybe 100 like-minded people just like you. They're trying to do the same thing. So when I went there, I was not the only one. Usually if I'm here and I go somewhere here, we're probably the only one who are in construction business and real estate and trying to make both of them happen and marry them together. In USA, I found 100 people just like me. They're in construction, they're commercial contractors, they have their background in civil, but they're also in real estate. They're a real estate agent, and they're real estate professional. And then they're doing these real estate syndications and real estate investment deals. So that was the biggest thing that I found there. There's a lot more people that are like-minded. And that's the beauty of it, that you get to learn from them and their view on things, and what they're doing differently and what they're doing more productively, that you can basically take the education from.
Hmm. Would that just be because you're at the real estate summit, or even like outside the summit, you met people doing syndications in real estate?
Well, I mean, everywhere I see people that are like-minded, but obviously, like when I was at the real estate summit, so everybody's there for that one reason.
Okay.
So we can have discussion, and then I know. But in general, like there are people all different kinds. There are people who just want to live and party, and there are places that, crazy places. They'll just block. They will have the section of the city just blocked off just because there is a whole bunch of kids, and there was spring break too, so it's just crazy like
Oh,
how it's like
yeah, spring
there
break.
is
Heard
there is massiveness in everything. Like if you're gonna find working people, you're gonna find a whole bunch of them. If you're gonna find business people, you're gonna find a whole bunch of them. If you're gonna find rich people, there's a whole bunch of them. And if you're gonna find poor people, there's a whole bunch of them. It's just there's like a massiveness in everything, and it's not like that.
it.
That I was finding talent and I was finding entrepreneurs just walking on the road and just bumping into them because it's such a like capitalist market and like entrepreneur market. No, there's all sorts of different people there, but there's just massiveness in everything. That's what I noticed the biggest thing, and what I like that. If you, let's say, are talking about building an apartment building, there is 50 other people are building an apartment building, right? And that's a great thing because that's how you can learn from those people, and then you can get engaged with them, and learn from their experience and share your experiences with them. So that's one thing I noticed on a massive level. Yeah. And just to like what is different about USA? I mean, there's so many different things about the the market, and I think it's the diversity. They have a huge diversity because of their country is very diverse too. They got all kinds of weather. They got a very hot areas, very cold areas. So, and that's what the people too. And then when I was there at the conference, there were people pretty much all from all over the world, but especially all over the USA. There are
Mm.
people from Boston, from Seattle, from Washington, from Maryland, from Florida itself, from California, from Texas. So, and then all those USA markets are pretty busy. Like there is a lot happening. In Canada, let's say we got what top 5 or top 10 cities. And that's about it. Like we end right there. In USA, they got I don't know, they got top 50, top 100 cities basically. They got big major metros, and we if we have only 4 or 5 of them, they got like 100 of them, right? So imagine that the people that live in there and the things they do over there, and then all states are different, their laws are different, the things you can do in them is different. So there is a big pool of knowledge basically in there that's sitting there. So that's what I really like and admire about USA is just the massiveness of the market.
Seems pretty big. I know there's
Yeah.
a lot of people there in compared to Calgary or Canada. I think it's what 10 million, 20 million in Canada, and then US has like
No,
triple digits.
we're about 35 now, somewhere approaching there, and they're 10 times. So just times it by 10, so they're 350, 355 mil. And so they're obviously, yeah, so they got 10 times bigger the population, meaning 10 times bigger the talent, 10 times bigger the businesses, 10 times bigger the entrepreneurship, so 10 times bigger, more of them like-minded people. And that's exactly what I mean. There's more like-minded people that you can connect and relate with, so it just makes the road easier for you when you're struggling, when you're doing something, let's say as an entrepreneur, as a business. You find examples here, you find like-minded people here. I'm not saying it doesn't exist here, but over there is 10 times more. So so your motivation is 10 times more. If you look at people and all different
Mm.
types and kind, and they're trying to make something happen, it motivates you. It's like, hey, if they can do it, and in being in so and so situation, so can I. And why I'm not doing it, and so there's a lot of motivation, but there's also a lot of distraction there. I mean, the weather is great, right?
Yeah.
And they got nice places, nice beaches. It's a lot of distraction too. I mean, if you wanted to not work, it's not that hard. It's very easy. Like you just find some distraction and it will take you away from working. But again, on the other hand, the benefit is if you wanted to work, there's a lot of attraction. You can find a lot of like-minded people, and they will push you to be in that direction and work, right? I mean, there's food for everyone, right? Depends what you want. There's food for everybody over there.
You know, one thing I love about the States is I love how patriotic they are.
Yeah, yeah,
They're very patriotic, way more
yeah.
than Canadians. And I think I
I,
was there during the 4th of July in Washington, and flags everywhere, army everywhere. And it was like everyone's happy. It's Canada or American Day and 4th of July. And it was just so patriotic that you don't really see that often in Canada on Canada Day or July 1st. It's not as exciting. You know, people are, when they're in Canada, they're just like, okay,
yeah.
let's go to the river or let's go have a barbecue. But in the States, they'll have their whole like house covered in the stripes and stars and stripes. There's soldiers walking around everywhere. People like respect all the soldiers whenever they're walking around. Um, it's just powerful. Like it's really
I
cool. Like
I
very
love that.
patriotic.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
about them too. It's like they have somewhat culture, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they all kind of come together in one thing. Like every place, I would like, you will see their flag in front of the houses, right? So and a lot of businesses will put flags. Like, you don't see a Canadian flag on a Walmart. But over there, you do see that. You go to a store, a grocery store, like they love their country, and then they'll show it, openly. And I
That's
actually
cool.
like it. I wish we had that in Canada too, where people were more like, putting Canadian flag, on their businesses or in their stores, or or even homes. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing you do notice. Like for a minute, you'll forget because some areas are just like Canada, like wide, big roads, and they got even bigger stuff, right? Their
Yeah.
their highway system, and then their road system, their infrastructure is a lot massive than us.
More
But
lanes.
yeah, but you would feel like, for a minute, like you're like, hey, I can't tell if I'm in USA or Canada, or let's say you're driving and you're like, yeah, this, you might think like, hey, I'm just in Canada, and then you'll see like American flag and you realize, oh, no, 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 I'm in USA, because you'll see American flags everywhere. It reminds you that you're in USA.
They have a lot of more billboards as well. There's a lot of billboards.
Yeah, yeah,
Really interesting how they have billboards and it's like maybe Spanish like words and like Latino. There's a
yeah,
lot of Spanish people in Miami.
yeah.
It's really interesting. Cubans, black people, like it's a whole mix, melting pot of races in that
Yeah.
area.
A lot of
Haitians,
a lot
black,
of Cuban in Florida, and Mexican.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of them. So
Colombians, Venezuelans, like South
yeah,
America's there in
yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, it's like a little South America. Honestly, like Florida, I think of it like not even part of America. It's like a little South America. Like, there some of their buildings, some of their roads, just
Yeah.
like you're in Cuba or something, right? And then like Miami Beach, right? South Miami Beach, like there's those signature buildings how they have painted like those vintage colors, right? It's just like you're in like Cuba. So
Mm.
they're trying to, keep that culture, also, and then also the people there, right? And you would see a lot of people not speaking English. They're speaking their own language, and nobody cares. Like nobody's mad at them for speaking, because they just, English is not their first language, and they've been living there for years. Like I met this guy who could barely speak English. He's living there for 25 years. So I'm like, how do you even survive without speaking English much? And because there is a lot of the community people there, which was fun. So I kind of like that part of the culture. I kind of like that, what they have, like you said, is a melting pot. They got a big diversity in that way, which is good. It's a healthy for our country, and it's healthy for their nation in a way, because they got so much diversity, and then it's like they got talent from so many different places, coming into the USA. So I'm very impressed with USA with a lot of things. But that doesn't mean that Canada is not on my Canada is my country, and I love Canada. I love being a Canadian. We think actually, I think that, like Americans, they get a lot of things easy. Number one, they're just a world power, right? And then they're a dollar. Things are a lot easier for them. We live a very harder life as compare. And even, just understanding construction, someone who's in the road building, I can tell them like our cost for maintaining our roads and building them is way more than what they have to do. They have no snow, like especially in the southern part, right? So they got no snow. Like when I'm looking at Florida, I'm like, yeah, wow, I love the roads. They're so clean. And and they put those reflectors on the road, and then they look very nice. And then all the lanes are like pure white, and the road is pure black. It's like, wow, well, yeah, the reason why they never get snow and they never have a shovel, they never have those graders and snow trucks walk and driving on the road and cleaning up the snow, so they never get damaged. And if they do, they just freaking paint them black, pretty much. They don't even have to rebuild the road. And where in Canada, our roads get so damaged because of the winter, and then the heavy trucks driving on them, and then when you're snow shoveling it deteriorates the road. And then our cost for maintenance must be way more than what they end up spending. So then they can save that cost for a city, and they can spend it on other things. They can have put a lot of greenery, a lot of trees.
Yeah, landscaping.
What I love about there is so much green. Florida is so
Oh,
much green, right? There's like
yeah.
a nice old trees
Well
and
maintained too.
well
Well
maintained too.
maintained.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, right? They can save all the money that they'll probably put into the road, and they can put towards their
Yeah.
landscaping. But in Canada, like you see it very dry. I mean, we're all about, green living and all about, having trees and whatnot. But it's so hard to maintain them because our costs for infrastructure and the roads, and like just to give you an example, okay, I come from the underground road industry. In Canada, when you're building infrastructure, sanitary water, sewer pipes, we have to go really deep in the ground because we have to go below the frost level. We have to protect the pipes from the snow and freezing. Over there, they don't. They barely dig the ground and they put the pipe in there. It's like a 1 foot underneath, maybe a couple of feet, and that's it. So our cost for infrastructure, our cost for building communities is way more than what they have. But they may have other issues where their money goes, like there's more people, some more crime, some hot weather issues they may have to deal with, but they do not have to deal with a lot of things that we end up doing here, but just because we live in a very cold country. And good on Canada. I'm very impressed what Canada has done so far as a country in terms of maintaining it, in terms of keeping that environment
Mm.
still very clean and healthy for us. And I still I appreciate Canada in a lot of ways that it's not easy to live the life here, and our
Right.
governments, our people make it happen,
Yeah.
and they just make it look like very easy, right? And then they be able to have the clean environment for us.
Powerful.
So yeah, there's like pro and cons, right? Like over there, their water is bad. Like you can't drink their tap water. I'm sure it's good, but it has this smell,
It's a
and
weird taste.
it's a weird taste, and
I have bottled water, I
yeah, and
guess.
it's like burning. I don't know, like yeah. So and in Canada and here, like I mean, we still use filtered water, but I mean, you can honestly, our water is so clean. You can pretty much open your tap and drink the water. Uh, it's probably not as clean as should be, but it's way cleaner than what you get over there. So
Yeah.
there's pro and cons, right? And what do you like? But I really enjoy the hot weather. I really enjoyed the people, the massiveness, the like-minded people. I really enjoyed seeing that people are doing well and building businesses and building these crazy empires, right? Just working
Mm.
together. Even on the real estate summit, I met with some people. They just been in real estate for a couple years, and they got a lot already happening for them. 100 units, 200 units, 300 units, 1,000 units, and then there is a group of people working together. One come from the construction side, one is in the real estate, one is in the financing side. So they all come together and do something. So I really love that type of environment that they have created, which is very business minded. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that was my big takeaway on my visit over there.
As we finally land the plane, what is one thing you're gonna take into action moving forward? One thing. from your trip?
Like here,
Yeah.
I think finding more like-minded people here and collaborating with them. That's something I took from there that I want to replicate here.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Very key.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This is episode 22 of the Adeel Pirzada podcast, sponsored by thus truly, Pircon Group. Reach out to us if you want any information on design or construction for your next project, pircongroup.com. And final words?
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining in again as usual. We're here every Friday to bring information to you, bring useful, powerful information to you. There were still a few things on our list that we didn't get to discuss. Hopefully, we'll get that on our next podcast, and then we'll go in detail on those things. So, thanks, Kevin, again for being here, and thanks everyone for supporting us, for watching our podcast. Do hit the like button. Do subscribe our channel, and if there is any questions, if there is any comments, do let us know in your comments.
Awesome. Stay tuned for the next one, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Take care.